Before Katja was diagnosed with endometriosis, I didn't really know anything about it. I didn't know it existed. To me, it was just period pains. Obviously, not normal, but it was only until a fellow swimmer contacted me one day and said to me that she'd been with her on camp and that she didn't feel that what she'd seen and what she was experiencing and how Katja was in so much pain, that it was normal. And so she passed on some information to me that I could read up about it, and we did this, and I looked at it, and every single symptom on endometriosis is what Katja had been experiencing, if not more. And I thought, well, there's only one way. When she's back, we have to look into this, because all that can be said is that it doesn't exist. That's all. That's the good thing that can come out of it, or we can treat it, because what we were doing wasn't working. And so before that, no, I knew nothing about it. And if I talk to my friends, if I talk to people about it, they don't know anything about it. So it is an unknown thing, unfortunately, and it's something that we just need to talk about and get out there. Yeah, and I think also being able to overcome that comes down to having the right support system in place. Having that specialist that was prepared to work with you as an elite athlete, and work back with you, knowing when you have to be at your peak. And I think that is also very, very important to note. That we can, if you've got the right support system in place, it can work.
Yeah, and I think back to that specialist, if he couldn't treat me as an elite athlete, I don't think I would have been able to achieve those results last year, because he put my swimming first, which is something that not many specialists can do, because they're more concerned about your health. But he saw how important the swimming was to me, and he's like, okay, well, you worry about going over, he said this to me, and I can quote this from him, and it's amazing. And he said, you go over there and win those gold medals and come back, and we'll talk about it when you get back. And I did that. I did it twice in 1 year. It was actually a mission trying to explain to people what this chronic illness was about, and trying to explain how it affected me, because obviously half the population in the world is male, and they don't go through this cycle every month, or like me, which was like every 2 weeks. But it was rough, because we were new to it, and we needed to explain to people why I had to change so many things so drastically to help myself in the long run, to get ahead of it early. And I think that was just a really tough run, because explaining it to my twin brother and my father, it broke them, obviously, because they don't want to see a relative in pain and agony. And they saw me coming home, and I remember my dad just broke. I've never seen my dad cry, and he just broke down seeing me waddle in with the swollen belly and the incisions and the stuff covering all the incisions to keep them from getting infected. And he just saw me waddling in and just broke down, because he saw this agony and this pain in his kid. But once he understood it, he also got into the train of support with mum, and in turn supported mum through it, because it's not just draining on the person with the diagnosis, it's draining on the people around. And I can't put aside enough energy to think about everyone else when it comes to the pain and the stress that it's causing me. So I had to focus on myself, and they had to support one another to support me.
There's many strategies that we've had to deal with in helping Katja get over her endo during being an elite athlete. I think the biggest thing probably is just being her support system when she comes home. I'm not there all the time when she's training. She tells me obviously what happens and how she feels and how her body reacts. But the biggest thing is for her to be able to come home, know that she's got a shoulder to cry on, may it be physically there at home or be 10,000 miles across the ocean on a phone call after a race or after a competition or a training session or a camp. Because at the end of the day, although I haven't, it's hard as a parent when you haven't experienced those pains for yourself and you don't know what she's actually going through because you don't physically feel the pain, but you do see it. And the the biggest thing is just, like I say, to be her support system. We've worked out strategies on what relieves her pain when she, as much as we can, after racing, after training, what helps her get through a race. We've worked out strategies on what she should eat, what she shouldn't eat. Some things flare up her endometriosis on what she eats. And so as a parent, it's just being her support system and being there for her, and that's what you have to do. And it's just believe that you will come out better on the other side. You just got to find the right direction and the right strategy.
And I think something that we both learned after a year or two is that I don't need her to solve my problems. I need her to validate them. I don't need you to fix. I wish you could fix my pain. I wish you could just take it away with the snap of your fingers, but that's not possible. So leave the solving to the specialist, and then leave the validating to the family and support staff, essentially. So that's one of the things that we learned after a year or two, is that I could come home, have a little cry about it. She'd validate that I was in pain and that this is not normal, but you're going through it and we're going to help you get through it. And then we'd go from there. But even as you said before about helping with the techniques that we learned that would help me after a race, or just to help numb the pain a little bit, she'd, if it was racing domestically and she came with, she'd be on the other side of the pool just waiting to hand that thing to me that I needed. And it's that simple thing that was helpful, and one of the strategies that we learnt together.